Hi everyone, I'm Terry Modishead, the Executive Director of the Centre for Legal Innovation at the College of Law, and I am absolutely delighted to welcome you back to CLI's Legalpreneurs Spotlight Future 50. The Future 50 series is showcasing thought leaders around the world, folks that are working in legal tech and legal innovation and are really thinking ahead of the curve and sharing that with you in this series. Today, I'm joined by one amazing legal innovator and legal tech thought leader, Maya Markovic. Hi, Maya, how are you?
It's so great to be here, Terry. Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure. Maya has this amazing history in legal tech and legal innovation. And today she's wearing a new hat. So putting on a new hat for the Justice Technology Association. Maya's the executive director of that association. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm also really delighted to say that Maya is one of the members of the Centre for Legal Innovation's advisory board as well. So maybe wearing two hats today, Maya, but certainly one of them is the one that we want to focus on. Look, I want to jump straight in to talk about this amazing association. I'm going to shorten it to JTA, if that's okay,
Sure.
with respect to referring to it. But tell us a bit about the background to JTA and what was the impetus for creating it?
Yeah, well, four founders, Justice Tech companies that are in the direct-to-consumer space felt a need for the organization based on their experiences. And until JTA, there was no group that focused on Justice Tech directly benefiting consumers. Of course, in addition to that, everyone understands that collective action is necessary because no real change can be achieved in this arena with, if we're doing it in isolation.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us who those four founders are, because we'd love to know a little bit about them too.
Yeah, sure. You can find out more information on the Justice Tech Association website, but also I can let you know that the founders are Hello Divorce, Easy Expunctions, Courtroom 5, and People Clerk.
Yeah, and what an amazing group of people and organisations and the work that they're doing as well. So JTA, it's a not-for-profit trade association, right?
Correct.
And basically, tell us a little bit about what what your vision is for that. I mean, what will JTA be focusing on going forward?
So our focus is twofold, really, to find ways to meaningfully support the member companies in the ways that are most useful to them, and providing a unifying force to the emerging sector, bridging for-profit and nonprofit entities, investors, reform advocates, entrepreneurs, and industry thought leaders.
So bringing together, it sounds like in some respects, a different group to focus on this area than in the past.
Yeah, I would say that there are a few reasons why organizations that exist, there are plenty out there already, but they're, first of all, again, none that focus solely on justice tech, which has kind of been this undefined and unclarified area of social impact. And it needs help to flourish with its own support. Also, the other thing is justice tech overlaps with so many other verticals that legal tech doesn't, like fintech, ed tech, comms tech. It has its own unique challenges. Obviously, everything from platform development to fundraising, but that's even more true with direct-to-consumer justice tech. So there is no other group right now that's got this unique focus. And because we will also be focusing on regulatory reform advocacy, while legal tech mainly operates within existing regulations regarding business and practice of law, and thus may have a more vested interest in the system status quo, this is, very, very much more focused on directly addressing the access to justice crisis.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like you've got almost an awareness raising role and an advocacy role, and then kind of a supporting, educating, directing role for bringing people together as well. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, we're just launching, and our goal is to bring together, like-minded people. There's quite a bit of interest. We've already gotten many membership applications, and so Yeah, I know. So we have a few action items that we, plan to prioritize and pursue because we feel that tech can be, there's a massive access to justice crisis and a
Yeah.
massive gap in people who need legal help and can't afford it or access it. And so we believe that tech, can and must be part of the solution.
And I guess a lot of people in A to J have kind of thought that, look, we've got pro bono happening in law firms, we've got, community legal centres, and they go by different names, but basically dedicated, I guess, agencies or law firms that are looking at the sector or focusing on the sector as well. But there is still this enormous gap, isn't there, with all of that there and incredible hard work of the folks that are working in those areas. We've still just got a massive gap. And I know in the US, it's something like over 75%, right? And in other countries, it's the same, if not worse.
Yeah, and actually, I mean, we have a uniquely difficult situation in the U.S. given the fact that we, rank well. We're top. We're the number one. We have the highest rates of incarceration of any nation, and we also have, you know, the access to justice gap in civil matters. We've got 75% of matters, at least one party is self-represented. It's often much higher than that. We've got up to like 98% for those that are facing eviction or consumer debt. And then beyond those quantifiable numbers, there's this hidden crisis where there are people who have legal problems and take no legal action because in many states here, it requires you have to pay several hundreds of dollars simply to respond to a lawsuit. So those people take no legal action. They're therefore shut out entirely from the civil justice system, and they aren't even included in the numbers that we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's quite possibly or very much likely to be even worse than the numbers that are being reported. So Maya, clearly in the title of the association is the word technology. So we've got to kind of focus on that a little bit. And I've seen kind of the JTA described in part as looking at tech as an alternative to traditional legal services. So why is tech so important, and why is that a particular focus of JTA?
That's a great question because, I mean, certainly, of course, we are focused on technology that is designed to improve or open access to the definitions of, the exercise of one's legal rights, increase individual agency, and improve outcomes for those people that are seeking help, and more equitably and efficiently administer, legal systems or service. So as we all know from the world of legal tech, that is something that has been directly addressed for the last 5-6 years head on. What we're aiming at with Justice Tech Association is to actually just further hone in on the fact that there is technology that can provide the tools to bridge the gap of that massive it's the middle and it's the majority of folks that need legal assistance and can't afford it or don't have a way to access it.
It's providing, I guess, a new way of accessing justice, but one that is also, more affordable and more efficient. I guess that's the other bit to it, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, not only is it necessarily going to be more affordable and efficient, but the capacity and to scale is much more enhanced than just having more people, which are, access to justice related careers are always underserved. They're underpaid and there are never enough people.
Yeah.
So there's no way that we can use pro bono or the incredible work that's being done in legal aid organizations can never, completely fill the gap. They're only just barely, making a dent in the need.
I saw that. I saw that explanation, by the way, from an article that Richard Granite did on JTA, and I know he's on your advisory board, and you have this advisory board there to kind of, I guess, really support and guide you as well, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, we've been incredibly honored to see the folks that want to support us, and they're coming from all different arenas. You know, I mean, we've got investors, impact investors, big law, innovation folks. You know, some of the top thinkers in how we can reshape the legal industry for the future and be more consumer focused in general. And, you know, there are a lot of initiatives that we've had inbound actually requests to work on already that are in kind of in the tech area, which is, you know, one is getting very specific on how tech can help ameliorate the access to justice crisis, right? So, for example, there's this general lack of information and metrics about what works in the space. So we're really excited to explore ways to tackle this issue. Most of the products and services that we're talking about that are going to be bridging this gap with the help of our advisors, of course, is, you know, they are outcomes based with identifiable and objective results. So the solutions are data driven. We're looking at ways to anonymize and aggregate that so that we can help determine the friction points and a body of best practices for accessibility and culturally aware content and software, and ultimately, and most importantly, better serve the consumers that are out or left without any support whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's that new level, as you say, of being able to use data, draw that from the technology that can really help prioritize and direct resources where they are most needed. It's a very, very broad scope, as you say, but at least you can, you know, you could, because resources, as you also said, are always unfortunately going to be much less than we would like, that's for sure. So JTA Maya at the moment, it's predominantly focused in the US. Is that's correct, right?
It is. The problems are global, and we have a global view on how we can draw, especially on lessons learned from other regions. We're definitely looking at working with you know, organizations in different regions.
Well, you know, don't forget CLI. We're here for you. You know,
I know. They're at the top of my list.
Thank you very much. We're very grateful. So unfortunately, you know, we probably should wrap on this, but I want to first encourage people to reach out, to learn about JTA, to reach out to Maya. You'll find her on LinkedIn and a whole bunch of other places, and of course the website for JTA, and we'll make all of those resources available so that folks will be able to get there. But I wanted to wrap with this question, if I may, Maya. What, as you look ahead now in the next 6 to 12 months, and I know that you're just in that wonderful startup phase. What's your vision? What would you like to have achieved in that 6 to 12 month period with JTA?
No, I mean, short term, which I consider 6 to 12 months being short term, you know, I mean, we're aiming to identify and create bridges with sponsors who share our vision and values, and they want to help support those efforts and these entrepreneurs. We've built this powerful advisory board that unites this, you know, very broad range of disciplines. They're all eager to support. So we're going to be leveraging their expertise and networks on this front as well. We mentioned that we're in conversation. I mean, we're in conversation with several mission-focused organizations that have already, you know, responsibly collected large volumes of data. They want to collaborate on reports that will pull out some trends and their significance. So that's an identified gap that we feel we can help address. And we're in conversations with folks leading the charge on regulatory reform advocacy. So as soon as practical, we'll be finding ways to weigh in with our collective voice that represents the entrepreneurs and the consumers on very concrete and achievable ways to decrease the access to justice gap via technology. As we grow, obviously, we're going to be refining our mission to expand the ways that we're able to support the companies in this space to scale and benefit kind of from that cohesive ecosystem. You know, like I said, one area is around identifying best practices. We're going to be exploring ways to help by introducing others to models that work and communicating those results and wins that we are seeing. And, you know, we aim to really be a resource, help identify where problems are, be a connector, and contribute significantly to raising awareness of justice tech as a sector and supporting companies who are largely, very early stage.
Yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic concept and initiative. Huge congrats to you, your advisory board, and of course your co-founding partners as well. And I've absolutely no doubt that it's going to create a model and a new way of conceiving the use of technology in access to justice. And that's just going to be an amazing thing. So thank you so much. It's just always a pleasure to welcome you back, and the best of luck with JTA, although I don't think you're going to need it, because I think you're going to be run off your feet with requests and support as well. So thanks so much,
definitely busy. Yeah, we're busy, but thank you so much for your support, Terry. It really means so much to the whole team.
Of course, absolute pleasure. Thanks so much, Maya.